Alright, so I don't know how I want to start this. This is going to be kind of a response video to some of the comments I've received, I guess, from the Grimes Iceberg series. And there's been something as a result of the Grimes Iceberg series that happened around the summer of last year that I didn't speak about publicly other than in one of my live streams and then also on Twitter, which had been reposted to Reddit so people in Reddit communities know about this happening. That honestly I didn't realize bugged me so much until I saw comments about what had happened resurface on Reddit. Just in the past few days I stumbled across people talking about it. If it's already like information I made public, I might as well speak about it because I think there's a lot of information given in the Grimes Iceberg series that led a lot of people to believe that I am still an active big Grimes fan. Whether I like it or not, whether I continue being a YouTuber or have music be my full-time thing and what I'm known for, regardless of any of that, I'm always going to be tied to Grimes as a namesake. Most of my internet friends are people who I am friends with via the Grimes community. The Iceberg series has just like solidified that because Lord knows whenever I post about Grimes, all of my interactions go up on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever the means, and I think I just want to maybe halt that in its tracks. If you're going to DM me in the future saying like, "Oh, Marzi, I loved your Grimes video. Let me know if you ever want to call me and we can talk for hours about like Grimes' music and space-time continuum and force fields and shit like that," just keep it, okay? I'm not interested. Essentially, I am no longer 16. I am 22. I am a full-grown adult with autonomy, and I am okay with speaking out about this. So last year, around, I believe it was like 2-3 months after I posted the final part of the Grimes Iceberg series part 3, everything had been out for a while already, the traction had already started to maybe like slow down a little bit. I got a notification on Twitter, multiple notifications on Twitter, from some of these accounts that I had mentioned Grimes had followed on Twitter in my Iceberg series. The problematic Twitter accounts who I referred to as
Nazis.
Basically, one of the larger accounts that I had mentioned in that video reposted a clip of the Grimes Iceberg series in the parts where I talked about his account. They didn't direct their audience to dogpile me, but wow did I get dogpiled. Maybe I'm going to show some screenshots of the things that were said to me, but I can't even show some of the messages I received both in DMs and just added on Twitter because some of them are just like some of the most heinous scum of the earth type of things. And that wasn't the part that really bugged me. I think that people who are unreasonable are going to be unreasonable no matter what. I found it interesting, though, that the majority of the insults directed towards me were directed towards my racial background. I am white. I am Hispanic, but I am white. And my appearance, which goes to show a lot about how these guys think. From what I perceived, it seemed to be mostly incel rhetoric type of men. They didn't really seem to have any type of response other than attacking my appearance, calling me ugly, calling me slurs, stuff like that. And that wasn't really the part that got under my skin. Sure, it annoyed me at the time, but something I noticed is that the account that posted this, calling me all these insults, saying all this awful shit towards me, is actually one of those accounts that Grimes, I believe to this day, still follows. So, in the midst of me getting like kind of heated about this situation that was happening on Twitter, I tweeted at Grimes a quote of the clip that he reposted of me saying, "Hey, at Grimes, are these your friends?" Because she still followed them at the time, and I thought that a reasonable person would see and think to themselves, maybe I should unfollow these people. Now, I don't know if what happened next was a direct response to me tweeting at Grimes, "Are these your friends?" However, I noticed in the week following that incident that Grimes had actually unfollowed me on Twitter but continued to follow the accounts that were attacking me. It could very well be a coincidence. Possibly she didn't know about the Iceberg series until months after, and then she just discovered it and decided to keep her distance from me. But I noticed, and I immediately made that correlation between when I had tweeted at her and the time in which these accounts were coming at me. And essentially, I didn't think much of it at the time. I thought it was a very, very shitty thing to do. But the longer that I sit and wait on it, and the more that the screenshots of me mentioning it on Twitter have circulated around the Grimes community and Reddit, the more I feel compelled to say that from a deeper level, that does really bug me. It actually pisses me off. If it was a coincidence, then it was a coincidence. But I personally just don't see how that would be possible. I understand that following somebody does not mean that you endorse them, but I found it very, very, convenient that she happened to unfollow me right after I said, "Hey Grimes, are these your friends?" I am even hesitant to make and post this video just in case this clip of me saying this gets back around to those people who attacked me and it happens again. Because I'll be real, these people kind of scare me. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to think. People who are that brazen online and just saying whatever to whoever, I don't know what they're capable of. You never know what someone can do on the internet. I could get doxxed, I could get harassed. I have no idea, honestly, but I just don't really want to encounter it again. So this isn't a video that is directed towards those people. You can do whatever bullshit you want on the internet. I don't have to agree with it. Just don't insinuate me in it. And if you're going to attack me, you need something better than you're ugly. That's not even an argument. But I think since that incident, I, more so than ever, had really pulled away from Grimes and her fans, and am just kind of sick and tired of talking about it and having to hear about it in my live streams, in my YouTube videos, for my music. I'm not saying that I dislike the fandom, because truthfully, a lot of the people in the fandom, or orbiting the fandom, are people like me who used to be super fans of her, but have since distanced themselves from her based on her actions. And I think as a finality to that Grimes Iceberg series, I kind of just want to say something that's kind of like an open letter, in a way, to Grimes herself. We have interacted before, both directly, indirectly, on Twitter, Instagram, through DMs, stuff like that. In the past, obviously, I don't think I've actually spoken to her on the internet in like at least over a year. But I just want to say to Grimes, if this ever reaches you, because I know you've seen my other YouTube videos, as somebody who used to kiss the ground you walk on, this is incredibly upsetting and disappointing. Fuck you for that. Like, just straight up, fuck you for that. And I know a lot of people can say, oh, you only care about this, you're only realizing it because something happened to you. The signs were there all along, you should have expected stuff like this from her. And other people are probably gonna be like, whoa, you're complaining because she unfollowed you on Twitter? That's crazy. But realistically, she knows who I am. I'm obviously in her awareness. I'm still kind of a big part of the fandom. Usually, if someone on Reddit says my name in some way, people will know who they're referring to. It is so incredibly disappointing to think of the fact that the person who influenced me to do music, to produce music, because that is what I love. It is my true love. I love it so much. I so adamantly believed in what she was doing, all the work she was putting into it that was 100% self-produced, all by herself, by a woman at that. I felt it was so important that I followed in her footsteps. I downloaded Ableton because she said she used Ableton. So much of how my personality and my sense of humor is now is, in a way, subconsciously influenced by how involved I was in Grimes and the Grimes community as a teenager. Grimes, if you end up seeing this somehow, dude, I loved you. I loved everything you did. You were my idol in every way, shape, and form. And for something like this to happen, in my opinion, from my perception, I could be wrong, that you chose to side with a bunch of alt-right accounts attacking me and calling me slurs on Twitter, rather than maybe just ignoring the situation and deciding to unfollow these accounts because they were attacking someone who's always supported you, is quite simply disgusting. And there definitely was a period of time when I was fucking 16, 17, where I would worry about saying things to you that maybe were wrong, to think that maybe you would be mad at me or something. You know, I was a teenager with undiagnosed BPD. I have my celebrity worship syndrome video, which you apparently watched, so you know all about that. I was your biggest fan. To have something like this completely stop me in my tracks and be like, this is not the person I ever thought you were, is very upsetting and disgusting, and I want to remove myself from it completely. I understand videos, internet, it's forever. The Iceberg series is going to be up forever, and Grimes, I don't know you personally. I never have and I never will. But thankfully, I started growing up right at the point where you started making questionable decisions about the people you surround yourself with. But I have no doubt in my mind that if you, I don't know, just stopped doubling down on all of your crazy opinions, maybe took like 10 steps back from social media, apologized for certain things rather than pegging questions and acting aloof about the things you were being accused of, then it's quite possible that I might still be running your fan page, your biggest one at that. And this sound is really scathing because it is supposed to be. I'm not going to sit here and coddle anybody anymore. I'm not that crazy anymore that I care necessarily about what Grimes thinks of me. It's offensive. It doesn't even matter if I was a lifelong Grimes fan, if I had talked to her in the past. I would like to think that any reasonable person would have seen that and gone, hey, this account that's posting all this gross stuff is gross. But instead you continue to follow them and act aloof whenever somebody says that you are following problematic Twitter accounts, going, oh, which ones? You know exactly which ones because you unfollowed me over them. And it's possible that Grimes will see this video and she'll go, what the hell? I accidentally unfollowed you. And in that case, sorry, I just don't really see how this is a coincidence. It could be a really awful coincidence. Grimes, like I said, if you're out there watching this, I understand that you have had a very hard time in personal matters with your kids, and you do not deserve that, and your kids sure as hell do not deserve that. I wish you all of the best in your personal and family life. However, I think it is time that we stop pretending that this woman is some kind of saint who's really ignorant to everything that's happening. People like me have tried to tell her about it before. If it seems like I'm making a bigger deal out of this than I should, then I don't know. You can click off the video. Not my issue. But I'm just saying, as somebody who used to love Grimes, it really hurt. And I'm bringing it up so much later, like this happened last summer, half a year ago, because I still see people on Reddit, on Twitter talking about it. I understand the idea that I'm just posting this so I can get clout associated with Grimes' name because I'm a musician, and I'm actually kind of doing the opposite. If I wanted recognition for my music and my YouTube channel and my art and the things I do, then wouldn't I be more open to supporting Grimes, considering a lot of the people who follow me seem to still be Grimes fans? Every time I tweet something about her, it immediately gets so many more likes and retweets than anything else I've ever posted. And quite frankly, I guess I'm a little annoyed about it. I'm not saying it's my own doing. I've solidified myself here. I made that Iceberg Series. I made that fan account when I was 16, adamantly posted on it. I always was in her replies and comment sections, just doing absolutely everything to get her attention and just tell her how much I adored her. I understand that in a way it's like, okay, I put myself here. But that series brought me a lot of attention that I guess I didn't necessarily want, especially in that situation with those accounts that were attacking me on Twitter. And like I said, I really hope this doesn't reach them because I'm a little scared of them. One of them told me that they were going to drag me by my nose ring, but I thought that's funny because my nose ring is actually fake, so you can't drag me by it. It'll just come out. I guess the point of me saying this is to, first of all, just say that if it seemed like I was mincing my words in the Iceberg series, then honestly, I kind of was. At the time, Grimes still occasionally responded to me on Twitter. I still had this weirdly parasocial relationship with her where I thought we were just like distant old friends or something like that. But I've exited this delusional state where I've realized that I never knew her and she never knew me, and ultimately it doesn't matter what we think of each other. For me personally, I don't think anything is ever going to negate the fact that I think that Get Primes, Hafaxa, Dark Bloom, Visions, and Art Angels are some of the greatest bodies of works ever made. They're incredibly influential to me. I love them to death. Some of my favorite songs of all time are on those 5 projects. And nothing that Grimes ever says or does to me or anyone else is ever going to negate that. And I think a lot of people who have grown emotionally distant as fans of hers can agree with that. Because here's the thing. I don't necessarily agree with everything that is posted on her unmoderated ZS subreddit. And I also definitely do not agree with everything that's posted on her main subreddit. I think want to remove myself from it. It's okay if people still talk about it, but I just want to have this be my peace that I refuse to be up her ass anymore. That incident of her unfollowing me on Twitter but continuing to follow all of these really alt-right accounts is just more proof that I am doing the right thing in separating myself from it and separating myself from the fandom itself. I can be the Iceberg girl. That's fine. I can be Grimes Canada to you. That's fine. I think I just don't want it to follow me into making music and doing YouTube videos about other things in the future. I got so much more to talk about and so much more to share. On another note, to my subscribers, not everything I post has to be related back to Grimes. Right now, Grimes represents somebody who I do not want to be associated with. Totally opposite of my beliefs based on everything that she's done, said, everything that's happened. Like I've said like 3 other times in this video, I don't know if this is ever going to reach Grimes herself. And that's fine. I think I just feel more comfortable saying this kind of stuff directed at her rather than about her. For a really long period of time, like I said in my celebrity worship syndrome video, it did feel like I was friends with her in some kind of way. It did feel like we had a personal relationship or whatever. Obviously, I can see now that that was never the case, but dang. Claire, dude, I have met so many amazing people. Some of my greatest internet friends, so many people had so many amazing memories in your community back when I was a teenager, mainly like pre-2019. I can attribute so much of who I am as an artist to you. It sucks. Like, it fucking sucks. I remember us having a DM one time where I said, I'm sorry if I'm bugging you. I don't want to send you too many messages and stuff like that. And you responded, it's okay. You're super cool. I love you. And I screenshotted that and I had it as my phone lock screen for about a year. See my celebrity worship syndrome video if you want to know how fucking bad my obsession with you was. Thankfully, I'm past that point now, but I can't say that sometimes I don't think about things like that. When I also think about the fact that you probably, most likely, I'm not saying for certain, watch these grown men, I'm assuming, call me racial slurs, call me fat, call me ugly, say all of these nasty things towards me, making threats of like physical violence towards me, and you thought to yourself, yeah, Marzi needs to go. She called me out on that. She's gotta go. If that wasn't a coincidence, and I am spot on in thinking that you unfollowed me because of this incident, genuinely, fuck you. If I'm wrong, come and correct me. You cannot act entirely aloof and ignorant to what's been happening because so many people have been so adamant in telling you about this kind of stuff. And I understand that what you are on the internet is different than who you are in person, and I don't know you in person. I don't want to be associated with it anymore. Claire, Grimes, if you see this and you decide to block me on everything, go right ahead. That'll just prove that everything I'm saying is true. Look, if this was a misunderstanding, tell me. I would love clarification on this. I actually tweeted this to you, asking for clarification on it, and I think maybe I was a little too nice about it at the time. If this goes nowhere and nobody watches it, then I feel comfortable just like saying my piece and severing that tie in myself from who I was when I was 16 to me now. People can think I'm being over dramatic, making a mountain out of a molehill or some shit like that. I don't really care. I feel like this is just what I need to do to move forward, both with her fans and with Grimes herself. Not in a sense of a relationship with her, but in a personal sense for myself to just say, Grimes, that's fucked up. And I want you guys to hear me say that. And I want it to be out there, because that's what I believe. So, that is my piece. I feel like this has been a therapy session. Dude, I have issues. I can admit that. The BPD favorite person thing kicks me in my fucking ass every single day. And if you think it's creepy and weird, imagine how I feel about it. There's a photo of her right here on my wall that my friend ripped out of a magazine for me when I was 15. She is right here. I still look at a photo like that of her performing during the Art Angels era, and there's still a little part of me that feels like that 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl looking up and being like, holy shit, I want to be you. I want to be like you. You're everything I strive to be. And it sucks I can't do that anymore. But I've grown into a person that I want to be, rather than me needing to look up to other people to aspire to be them. But yeah, I hope that this video... Actually, I don't hope anything about this video. I just needed to speak my piece in front of a camera to just be like, you are a girl like me, to me. I am not 16 anymore. I don't care what Grimes is doing anymore. If anything, it feels like every time I hear something about her, it's something that I actually don't want to know about. And the amount of people in my comment sections and DMing me on Instagram, on Twitter, saying stuff akin to, you should make a video about this Grimes situation, or this Grimes fact, or this piece of Grimes lore. Guys, I'm not doing it. I refuse to. I thought that the Iceberg series would be me revisiting my first love and being like, huh, she's crazy. But no, it's, she's crazy. I don't know how to end this. I don't think there's a proper way to end this. You can rake me over the coals over this. I think I've addressed everything I wanted to address, especially as far as how other people can perceive this as very overdramatic and creepy and parasocial. I accept it. And I'm not piling all of this onto BPD, especially when it comes to me being like dramatic and emotional. Let this be the last time, unless something really crazy happens to me personally, like Grimes like shows up to my house or something like that, hopefully will be the last time that I publicly speak about Grimes to this extent. If you want to hear me talk about Grimes, I have great news for you. I have 3 hours worth of an Iceberg series for you to go watch and rewatch and then watch again. And if that's still not enough for you, my Grimes Canada account is still up. I don't know the password, so I haven't posted on it in so long. So, Marzi out. I really hope that those alt-right people don't come back at me for saying stuff like this, but this video is not for them, it's for me. That's where I'm gonna end it.